Skelesteve.
Yeehaw! Welcome to the Skelesteve channel. I'm your host, Skelesteve. Hey there, hi there, ho there, everybody. Got another video from my 2018 trip, One Man, One Bike, the OMOB trip. It's a series of videos that I took on my trip in 2018 out west. Started from Michigan, just went straight out west. And if you want to check out the other videos, you can check out this one. This is the OMOB playlist. It's got all my OMOB videos on it, from Oregon, Highway 101, my trip in South Dakota, California one, San Francisco, Joshua Tree, New Mexico. They're all on that playlist. So if you want to check them out, go right ahead. And check out my unknown playlist. That's got all my destination playlists. Some of them are kind of quirky and stupid and makes fun of certain areas. Other ones are just like this, like going out on a trip. So check it out. Anyways, I don't know if I mentioned, this is the last video of my trip. This was on Route 550 heading from New Mexico to Colorado. And before I continue on with that, I just want to apologize for the shaking camera. I mentioned in previous videos that I mounted the camera on the handlebar. I think it might have got loose because it didn't do this before where it shook a lot, but I think it was around Joshua Tree. It just was becoming a pain where it was shaking, and I didn't notice it either because I just recorded them and just kept going on. But yeah, I didn't notice that they were shaking when I hit rough roads. So in the Joshua Tree video, I edited a lot out. The New Mexico I couldn't because it was, if I would have, it would have winded it down to almost nothing. And this video, I decided not to edit these parts out just because it's the last video. So just wanted you guys to see the whole ordeal, I guess. And like I said, I apologize for that. But like I was saying about Route 550, also known as the $1 Million Highway, I started in Albuquerque, or right outside of Albuquerque, and I went up to Colorado, went through Durango, got into Grand Junction. So basically that trip, the day trip, was from Albuquerque to Grand Junction, Albuquerque, New Mexico to Grand Junction, Colorado. And I like this road a lot. This road has a lot of cool scenery. Desert, a little bit of grassy plains, forest, mountains. Beautiful. Very beautiful. I loved this highway. This highway was awesome. You know, and there was a lot of twisty, especially when you got up to this area, and you'll see later on in this video, a lot of sharp twisties. There was parts where there was just a turn, either had a guardrail, some didn't have a guardrail, so you had to be careful because it was a sharp turn. It's a mountain road, that's for sure, and it was cool. It was a very cool experience. And I believe some of the areas, they get to an elevation of almost 1,100 feet. That's, no wait, sorry, 11,000 feet. I was gonna say 1,100 feet ain't crap, but 11,000 feet. I think it was like 10,910 or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's pretty cool. This whole road was awesome, and I like the name $1 Million Highway. And I just found out why it's called $1 Million Highway. It says the canyon clinging stretch of spectacular roadway between Silverton, Durango, and Ouray is called the $1 Million Highway either because it's cost so much to build, the amount of gold ore that remains in the roadway fill, or the figurative price of those amazing San Juan mountain views. And that's where I was at right now. It was the San Juan County, I believe, and I was in Durango. So like I said, I saw a lot. There's a lot of beautiful scenery here. It's just an awesome. I recommend going to the $1 Million Highway. How I found out about a $1 Million Highway is kind of funny. I found out about it in a video game, Need for Speed: The Run, which that game was a big race from San Francisco to New York or vice versa. That's how I found out about this road. When I saw how it was and how the twisties was, and how the beautiful view, I was like, man, one day I gotta go there. I gotta go there and check it out because it's awesome. And this is, like I mentioned, this was the end of the trip, so I was getting a little bit upset because, you know, good things come to an end. But it was not going to end right away. I think I had my trip from Grand Junction to Denver, so that was the next day. Then the 2 days after that was just getting home. So it was a little bit upsetting, but hey, what can you do? I had a lot of fun. You know, I had to get back to work. You know, I took 3 weeks off, so that was pretty cool. You know, that's a lot of time. Never took that much time off. I think even before this, the most I took time off was probably maybe 3 days was the most. Going from doing 3 days off to 3 weeks, it's a lot. Like I had to adjust going home because of sleeping in the tent, sleeping in cottages, hotel rooms. It was just a different experience. And you go to your own bed, and it was weird. Going to your own house was weird. And I guess a lot of the guys that or gals that work when they travel for work a lot and they go to their own home finally, it's probably the same thing, like a weird feeling, or maybe they get used to it. I don't know. I was definitely weirded out when I got home, and it was an experience. One thing was cool when I was coming through here. I saw black smoke, and I guess they were doing controlled burns, which I thought that was pretty cool. Certain areas out here in the mountains and the forest, they were doing controlled burns. The local fire department. So that was pretty cool. I got to see that. It was awesome. You know, I like all these houses too. From the side, those are pretty cool. I wouldn't mind living out here. Mountains and stuff. Hey, be pretty cool. Yeah. Oh, was that a biker on the side of the road there? I think it was. Yeah, Durango was a cool town too. I think I went to the town of Durango. Can't remember. Definitely a Colorado town. Fits the Colorado town stereotype, the narrative. It was actually pretty cool. And I was driving through there, and just like there was like people driving by, and there was a bunch of kids in the back of a bed of a pickup truck. I'm like, man, you don't see that too much anymore. I remember used to do that when I was a kid. That or like hang out in the back of a station wagon or something like that. But that's frowned upon a lot. Look at these twisties right here. These twists are pretty cool. There's some areas that it was just like you were going on a downgrade and it was 15 miles an hour as a sharp turn. It's like, oh my god, like wow. I'm not used to this sort of terrain. I'm used to flat roads before coming out here. I drove mainly on flat roads in Michigan. I took a trip to UP, which had a little bit of twist, and that was like my first experience, but nothing compared to out west. Out west is a whole different animal. Michigan, like I said, you go north, you go west, you'll see some of the twisties, you'll see the upgrades, the downgrades, but out here, it's just a whole different element. It's awesome. And I loved every second of it, and I recommend you guys doing this. And it's one of the coolest things I've ever done. It's actually the coolest thing I've ever done. My best trip ever. It's just, I want to do this again. My other planned trips are going through Route 66. I want to do that, and I want to hit some other states on the way too, kind of like veer off a little bit. And then I want to head back west. I want to go back through like to the northwest. I want to go through South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, because I want to do Sturgis. I didn't get to go do Sturgis and Deadwood and Spearfish and all that. And I didn't get to go North Dakota, Montana. So I want to do that again, and then one day do an east trip where I go along the eastboard states, the East Coast states. I want to do that too. So I have a few other plans rolling through my head, but it's going to be a minute just because, time, funding, and all that. I got other plans to do, other trips to take with family and friends, girlfriend. So I gotta put it off on the back burner for now. But one day I'll come back out here. Yeah. So I'm going to have you guys enjoy the scene for a second, and I'll come back to it. Hey, so some things I want to mention about this trip before I end this video. One, when I was riding on this road, on some of the side of the mountains, I saw the old miner sheets, which I thought was pretty cool to think, you know, the history of this place with all the mines, the gold mines and stuff like that. People just would kill to come out here and start a new life by mining and finding gold. You know, that was pretty cool to think. One time this was all just like tracks to mine, like that area was like some sort of tracks for mining where they put it inside the little buggy and roll it down, which I thought it was I thought it was awesome. And I'm pretty sure it's closed off by now. I would like to, if there's any areas out here, if there's any old mining areas out here, let me know. I would like to check it out if I ever come back here again. You know, I like to see that stuff, just to think the history of the new frontier, the Wild West. That's one of my favorite parts of history, American history, and I just enjoy it. It's awesome. So another thing too, I'm just gonna recap my trip. I'm gonna start from the beginning. The beginning was me in Michigan, going to Chicago, then going to Milwaukee to the Harley Davidson Museum, then riding through the lower half of Minnesota, then going to South Dakota town of 1880, Badlands, Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, got rained out after Crazy Horse, was supposed to go to Sturgis, Deadwood, Spearfish, but canceled it because it was raining. Dealt with rain a few days after that. Well, next 2 days, I'm sorry. Going through Wyoming, getting to Idaho, then going to Idaho, visiting a friend, going to Shoshone Waterfalls, and then after the Shoshone Waterfalls, going through Oregon, going up to Washington, going to see my friends in Seattle, hiking and camping, all that stuff, then coming down through Oregon, going through California, Highway 101, Highway 1, all that, going to San Francisco, going to LA, going to rock and roll part of town. Why can't I think of it right now? Sunset Strip. Then after the Sunset Strip, you know, going through the desert, through Joshua Tree, Mojave, going to Vegas. After Vegas, going to the Grand Canyon, going to the Grand Canyon to Phoenix, seeing my family for a few days there. Then after Phoenix, going to Albuquerque to here, doing this, like this downgrade steep. Look how awesome this is right here. I like this. Then after that, going to Denver, then heading home from Denver, and then dealing with those problems I was having in Nebraska and Iowa with my bike. I was having fuel pump problems where where I was not getting in, like after like a little bit under a quarter tank, the bike would stop, so I had to keep it up at a certain part of the tank right before quarter, and I'd have to stop, pull over, get gas, and then just keep going. And I was worried about not making it home. I didn't want to get stranded in Iowa. Nobody wants to get stranded in Iowa. That was the most boring part of my trip, going through Nebraska and Iowa. Sorry if you're from Iowa and Nebraska, and I heard there's some cool dry rides in Nebraska, but no. That part was boring. It was just boring. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you guys live there, but I'm sorry. That was pretty terrible. I really was praying to God that I was like, don't make me get stranded in Iowa of all places. I don't want to get stranded in Iowa, please. So check out some of these videos. They're going to be in the info tab at the top. They'll be the first. They're me talking about my trip. You can check those out too. I go into detail about them. Here's number 1. Then it'll be followed by number 2, and then number 3. They're each leg of the trip. So I break it down in 3 different videos. And this was last summer or fall, I can't remember, but I was riding around local areas and just talking about my trip. They're just actually more live motor vlogs, more recent motor vlogs at the time. I like this twist right here. I took a lot of these twists with precaution because a lot of them were kind of like, be careful, be very careful. You don't wanna go off the road there, because there's nothing but downness. This is a beautiful scenery. It's gorgeous. I like this. Like, look at that view right there. That's awesome. Pretty high up on the mountain riding. Nice. So this is where I'm going to end it. I said thank you guys for watching all these videos. If you tune in on them, remember, check out my playlist for the OMOB trip. And I said I will plan future trips later on down the road. And next week I'm gonna start doing talking vlogs or more recent moto vlogs. I'm recording again because it's spring, so this was just filler for the winter and beyond. So this is the last video. It's gonna be more moto vlogs of me talking with a little wind noise in the back. I'll do some other stuff too, like certain subjects I'll talk about, ride to certain restaurants, little areas around me, maybe do moto camping since everybody's doing it. I'll hop on that bandwagon, so on and so forth. But yeah, it's good riding seasons here, so more recent moto vlogs. Be prepared for it, guys. And I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get another camera so I can do the front facing view of me, maybe update my audio. I'm getting better and better at it slowly but surely. But this is the end of this series. Make sure you like this video, comment, subscribe, and ring that Guardian bell to get notified and kill those YouTube algorithm gremlins. Anyways, it was fun. Skelesteve